Hi, how you doing? Oh, it's a great day to be in the garden today. It's 20 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, a little bit of breeze to keep you a little bit cooler. It's a great day to be in the garden. So I'm going to make full use of that. There's a few tasks I want to get done today. The priority is I want to side dress the garlic and probably water it and then reapply some of the mulch that I took off earlier in the year just to warm the soil. Second of all, my annual flowers are about ready to be planted out into the pots. I've been hardening them off for a while, and I want to get the soil ready for the pots, and that involves removing the old soil, recharging it, and then putting it back into the pots. My name is Sharon. I garden on a large yard in a small town in east central Saskatchewan, Zone 3. Welcome to my Sask Garden. So before I get started, I just wanted to mention that something happened this week. I don't know if many of you know, but my channel is not very old. It's only maybe 8 months, 7 months old. I think I started in September, and I reached 1,000 subscribers this past week, and so that was, that's kind of a milestone for me. And I just wanted to say thanks to all of you for watching, subscribing, and I'd actually love to know where you're from. I know there's a bunch of you from Saskatchewan. If you could tell me what corner of the province or section of the province, if you're from Alberta, Manitoba, somewhere else in Canada, or I see through analytics that I do have some subscribers from the United States, and some people are watching from other parts of the world. And so if you wanted to chime in the comments down below and tell me where you're from, I'd love to know. Anyways, I'm gonna get going on that garlic, but first I wanted to explain to you what I am going to be side dressing with. Okay, I had to move because my camera overheated, and I think my phone was probably close to that as well. So the things you learn. The hot sun in Saskatchewan is a little hard on the recording devices. Anyways, so I have this product that I'm going to try. It's called H-Start, and it's made by a Saskatchewan company called Humaterra. And first of all, full disclosure, this product was given to me to try, and I'm happy to do so. It's a probiotic soil enhancer, is what it's called. And I'm going to try it as a side dressing on the garlic. I grow the music variety, always have music variety of garlic, and I quite like it. For one thing, because it does produce these nice big bulbs, and they're easy to grow, and they always winter. Anyways, I'm going to try this soil enhancer, this H-Start. I'm going to try it on 2 rows of my 4 rows of garlic. And then I'm going to see when I pull the garlic if there's any big difference either in the roots or in the bulb, or while it's growing in the greens, or it's, probably got about another month of growing before it sends up the scapes, the flower stalk of a garlic. And so I might be able to tell from that as well. So if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I am all about healthy soil, and not necessarily about growing organically, because I do use synthetic fertilizers. I'm not against using that, but I do like to think of my yard as a healthy ecosystem that supports all the bugs, the good bugs and the bad bugs, and birds, and maybe the birds will eat the bad bugs, and of course our food that comes out of the vegetable garden. Healthy soil is the foundation of all of that, and I work at that, because I believe that you have to give back to the soil. You can't just take and take and take and expect that soil just to, keep producing. You have to give back to the soil. That's if you're going to learn one thing as a gardener, that's probably it. So from what I've read and what I've been told, the H-Start is, did you just see that little chickadee come out of the nest? And behind me there's chickadees nesting just in this, so how do you do that? Just in this box right over here. I think they have young because we've seen them taking bugs in and out. So I think some eggs have already hatched, and I'm giving them good bugs from my healthy ecosystem. Anyways, I'll start that again. If from what I've read and from what I've been told, this product, H-Start, it's like a concentrated, supercharged compost in pelleted form. It promotes microbial activity as a soil inoculant, and it improves soil health. And it can be used for everything: vegetable gardens, ornamental gardens, the lawn. Farmers use either the same product or something similar. I know that there's an agricultural element that goes along with H-Start or with Humaterra. And so I am not a scientist by any means, but I do understand that there are beneficial fungi and bacteria that are necessary and that should be present in soil. And this product, it says here, is packed with it. My honest opinion so far is, my gosh, but this is easy. You know, it comes in a bag. There's bigger bags as well. We make our own compost, as you know. You may have seen me mention the compost pile, or there's a video on the compost. And so there's certainly, I know that there's certainly a bit of work involved in compost and effort. And, you know, I love making compost. I've often said I wish it could be my job. But when I say that, I'm picturing machinery to do all of the heavy labor. In a yard, it's physical labor. And from making it, and you turn it, and you have to manage those piles. And then before we use it, we sift it, because not everything is composted. So you sift out the big bits before you use it. You have to wheelbarrow it or use buckets or whatever to take it over. You have to haul it to wherever it needs to go. And also, our pile never gets hot. And so whatever seeds might be in there, and I'm careful not to put weed seeds in, but you know, last year I had an amazing crop of sunflowers that popped up everywhere. There probably isn't a year that goes by that I don't have random tomatoes poking up everywhere. They really do poke up everywhere. So you need that compost pile to get to a certain temperature in order to kill off all the seeds, and mine doesn't do that. This stuff is heated properly, and so it won't contain any seeds, and it's certainly portable pelleted compost. I was thinking, I wonder how much of my own compost it would take. First of all, mine isn't inoculated with certain bacteria and fungi, so I don't know if my compost is even remotely the same or as good. And I kind of wonder how long it would, or how much of my compost it would take. It probably would take my entire compost just to make this little bag of H-Start. I think I mentioned that perhaps I didn't, that it's safe for pets and for children. It's organic certified. Organic farmers can use it. And I mentioned, I think as well, that it's made not only in Canada, but right here in Saskatchewan. And they have a website, humaterra.ca. So you can go there, and it goes into a lot more detail about it and test results and, you know, all kinds of things like that. So I am going to give it a try. We're going to give it a try on the garlic first, and then we're going to add some into the pots as I get them ready for the flowers, which I think I'm going to plant tomorrow. Anyways, let's get going on that. Okay, so I'm set to go. What I've done is I've removed the mulch from 2 of the rows, and I see there's still some moisture under here. Pretty good. I'm just going to give it a little sprinkling anyway, just before I add a bunch of mulch on. That pile, well, you probably can't see it, but there's a pile underneath the apple tree that I removed earlier in the spring to warm up the soil here so the garlic could get going. And now I'm set to put the mulch back on. It holds down the weeds, it regulates the soil temperature in a raised bed. Otherwise, the soil temperature could get quite warm. And it also retains the moisture. And, you know, we have no rain in the forecast again. So it's going to be, who knows when the next time is that we get rain or that I then have to water to get the moisture back in. But anyways, I'll get rid of this. So it says on the back of this that you can spread 1 kilo, which is this package, of H-Start onto 540 square feet of soil and rake in gently, and then plant your garden as usual. You can also use it, it says to mix 1 tablespoon of H-Start per 1 gallon of soil into pots, and then plant tree or potted plant as per normal planting process. So we're going to add some as well to my flower pots. Use within 9 months of opening is the other thing it says. I think I mentioned, I don't recall now, if I said this is not meant to be a replacement for fertilizer. This is something to improve your soil, not necessarily provide a bunch of nutrients to the plants that are growing. Active ingredients, compost. I like that. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take maybe this much, maybe a little bit more, and I'm just going to scatter it just sort of alongside of the garlic. I've already worked this just a little. I don't see how more is going to hurt at all. And then I'll put a little bit in between here. Oh, the mosquitoes are out biting. For some reason, they like to bite my hands. Just, they find the thin parts of my hands and they like to bite there. So that's 2 bites already. It's the oddest thing that I have to put mosquito repellent on the backs of my hands. All right, so that's done. Just gonna till it just with my little hand cultivator. I'm just going to work it in just a little, just to get it in the soil. And one would want, if you're working around your garlic, you'd want to be kind of careful so that you don't hit roots that are already growing. Although the bulbs, the garlic bulbs that are growing are down, you know, a fair bit. But still, just gently rake that in a little or work that in a little. And then I think that once it's in contact with moisture, it activates. I didn't mention, but another thing that I wanted to do today is make a spray, make a concentrated garlic spray. And I usually do that with leftover garlic. And I steep it for about a week, and in the heat is great. And then I put it in a pump sprayer, and I spray especially the Cotone aster. They really like to hang out there, and if I could chase them away, then my vegetable garden would be a whole lot more enjoyable. I'm just going to give it a little water before I get the straw back on. Another thing I didn't mention about the H-Start is where you could buy it. And on their website at humaterra.ca, which I'll link that website below in the description of the video. But on their website, it lists all the places where you can buy it. And you know, some of the co-ops are carrying it, some of the local co-ops. So in our little town, the co-op is carrying it. Just check the greenhouse or check the website for your area and see where you could pick it up. I'm just going to get the rest of that straw on, and I'm going to get this camera out of the heat. Okay, here we go. Next task for the day, and that is to get my pots ready for all of the annuals, which I think I'll probably be potting up tomorrow or the next day. It's going to be hot this week, but they have been hardening off. I'm hoping that they're going to be okay. I really don't want to hold them for another week, and I don't know what the next week will, if it's going to be any cooler. It may be, but who trusts the forecast these days, right? So this is last year's pot, and all I did was cut off all of the plants from last year, or pulled if there was any that were easy pulling. And now what I'm going to do is, I guess put that there, is I'm just going to take out all of this. Anything that needs to be dug out, I will dig, but I'm going to keep as much of that soil in there as I can. Tags. I find a lot of tags in my compost. They eventually get pulled out, but so this kind of thing I pull out. That goes into the compost. And some of them are not rooted very much at all. More tags. Superbena Pink Cashmere. That didn't work for me very good last year. I don't think I'll ever buy it again. The verbena didn't do well for me last year at all. And just keep going that way. Okay, so that's pretty good. Getting all that out of there. And the next thing I'm going to do is take maybe a third, maybe not quite a third, and just put it in the wheelbarrow. I have been reusing potting soil for a number of years. I do have to buy some every year because, you know, things like this, of course, don't really help. You have to take that out. I take out like roots like that. I take those out. It's kind of packed along the edges, so I get it out of there. But you know, potting soil is expensive. And for big pots like this, I mean, if you had to fill them every year, I'm pretty sure I have something down low. It's probably those 6-pack, those plastic 6-packs. They're probably down there. I like to use those. But you can use, you know, old coffee cans or things of that nature. You can use logs or pieces of wood, bricks if you don't have to move your pots at all. You can use a variety of things too. I would say you can fill up like the bottom third of your pot. All right, that's good. So now the next thing I do is loosen what's left down there. This is essentially where the roots are going to be, the ones that go down deep. That looks pretty good. So normally what I would do is I would go through the first 3 and get all of that and then recharge the soil or amend the soil in the wheelbarrow. But for this purpose, I'm only going to do one to show you, and I don't think you need to watch me doing them all. But I will show you what happens at this point, which is fairly simple. Good. So now I have what's in the wheelbarrow, and that's pretty good. There's no big lumps or anything like that. A few. Nothing terrible. And I am going to add, just for some extra drainage, this is, how much is this? Anyways, I'm going to add one of those, and that's just the ProMix HP. And just to lighten it up just a wee bit more, I have some perlite, and I'm going to add more of that. Don't breathe this stuff in. If you're in a closed area and you need to breathe it in, or you aren't outside, put a mask on. This stuff is terrible on your lungs. So there's going to be that. There's a big lump of stuff. Compost. And then I have some Co-op Gold potting soil. I'm going to put some of that in. And I'm also going to use this H-Start. I think I'm going to use it in the maybe 2 of these containers in the front. And the one on either end, and then the middle one, I won't use it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in about maybe 2 handfuls. How's that sound? You may be able to lift one of these bags. I cannot. My physiotherapist told me to keep on gardening, but to do it smart. And if that involves picking this up by small loads, then that's what I do. And so I'm always using a small bucket of some sort to gather. So I think I'll add maybe 3 buckets of that, or 3 of these containers. I also have coconut coir, and that's a good one for moisture to add. As a matter of fact, I'll put in a bucket full of that too. Okay, there's some coconut coir. I rehydrated it and loosened it quite some time ago. It comes in square compressed dry bricks. You have to put it in a bucket or in a wheelbarrow and add a lot of water in order to get it to this state. But it holds moisture nicely. And so I think that's good. I'll mix it up and then see what I think at the end of that. So of course, this is a lot more in here now than what came out of there. That was sunk down a little bit, but I also have a couple more empty containers that I want to fill. Anyways, it's just a matter of remixing. Now, if you had granular fertilizer, this would be the time to put it in. You could scatter some at the bottom where the roots are going to be, as well as some in here, so that all of the soil sort of has that granular fertilizer in it. And so just a matter of replacing the soil. And all right, so this pot is done, and the rest of this I'm just going to dump into that low container right over there. So that's the process. Pretty straightforward. It took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but all of the pots up here, the upper and the lower pots on the driveway, as well as the 3 big pots in front of the garage, they are all recharged. And then all of these annuals in behind me, most of these annuals in behind me should be put in place within the next couple of days. So I'm going to call it quits for today. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. And if you did, give me a thumbs up, tell your friends, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Thanks again. See you.